Bitcoin is breaking out exactly as I told you guys yesterday, and now of course you want to know if we actually go higher or if this is just another fake out. I will show you exactly what I'm going to do and what you should do in the same situation. Let's go. Thank you so much for tuning in here on this Monday. It will be a quicker one, I hope at least a quicker one than yesterday. So let's directly get here into the charts. The DXY is moving here to the downside as expected, but still consolidating in that descending triangle or bear flag, whatever you want to call that. And I still expect here a breakdown in the coming days to the downside. So this could go on as long as potentially even until next week when we get the FOMC meeting, and during the FOMC meeting or just after that we could get here the break to the downside, because the apex of this pattern is going well into the early days of July. Now when we're looking at Bitcoin here, really nice what we are seeing here right now on the weekly chart. The current weekly candle is pushing into the upside, exactly as I told you guys that this was the scenario that I was more leaning to, that we get here a pinball candle and that we are forming then here a continuation or reversal pattern, continuation to the upside of course. And now the weekly target here, potentially even for this week, might be the 2.618, the extended golden ratio here at almost $114,000. The RSI is also still flying here into higher levels. We are still not overbought. We're here at 65.6% currently. And also the stochastic RSI will give us another buy signal if we keep pushing here into higher levels. So by then next week we're gonna have that buy signal and one more push, in my opinion, into the $120,000-$130,000 range. Now on the daily chart we got a clean breakout out of that falling wedge pattern, and also when you're looking here at the EMA ribbon, a bullish retest that pushed us here back to the upside while we were breaking out. So you had some confluence there and confirmation that the breakout was real. And now from the original trade setup here, we are currently up 1.6%, 1.5%, which is technically not a lot, but you should not forget this is also a short-term trade here to $112,000 basically into the all-time high, and most likely we're going to push higher. So I'm going to show you here in a moment again other setups where you can basically trade continuation if it is given, but you should definitely take some profits here along the way, because that's also what I'm doing here. So here over the next couple of days, what I'm expecting, because we are here retesting currently again a resistance level on the daily chart, exactly the level that we are sitting at here at $7,500, $108,000 currently. If we are not getting rejected from here, I would still expect a little bit of a consolidation and then the next leg to the upside by end of this week. It can happen earlier if we see more USDT printed and issued, or that we see China printing more money. That can also have an effect that we keep pumping here, but otherwise most likely tomorrow will be a briefer day, and then the next day could be already technically another move here into higher levels. On the 1 hourly chart, you can actually see here how beautiful we broke out. I told you guys yesterday here, within that buffer zone you can go and long. If you would have done that, you would be up here currently from the bottom, could have easily caught the bottom, roughly. On the high side you would have been up over 2%, now close to 2%, basically 2% here. Here again, same target, $112,000, also on this breakout here with the cup and handle pattern that we are forming. And that inverse, so here basically here the breakout to the upside here, you see the technical target is $110,600 and $110,800 approximately. So here we're completely on track. Would I enter here at this point right now? No, I would not enter here. If you missed here these entries that I had given, you had more than enough time to get into them. I think at least 4 or 5 days. I was talking about these entries. So if you have missed them, there is a new setup that I'm gonna give you here in a moment that you can trade for Bitcoin once we are breaking higher. But here at the current level, that is a level where you should not enter. We are never chasing pumps. Remember, it's a golden rule, never chase the pumps because otherwise you will get burned. Then here also on this daily chart, I told you guys yesterday that we got here a really nice bounce of this downward sloping trend line, and this is a trend line that is forming every other year. We had this also here where we were trading for a multi-month period below that downward sloping trend line. The same here, that started in December. So basically here now 5 months that we were below that trend line before we finally broke above that. And now we got here a couple of days ago the perfect retest, and from that retest we started to move here into higher prices. So now, as you can see here, you see it even cleaner. Here, these are the highs that have to be taken out here in the imminent short term, so that we go in direction of the prior all-time high. And once we are breaking that, we obviously create a new one. So, but I also want to point out, these could be also rejection levels where we come down, need to find momentum, and go from there back into higher levels. Before I show you the next trade, guys, I want to address here something. First of all, you can still trade and earn on Blowfin. It's a non-KYC exchange. Definitely take advantage of that. Up to $5,000 can be unlocked there if you sign up with the link in the pin comment below and in the description. But for the $500 to $10,000 challenge, where I personally help you to turn the $500 into $10,000, I have to mention here something. Some people just sign up and think they get access, no deposit, nothing. Other people sign up not under my link or have already an account that is not under my link. That is not how it works, guys. You have to be registered with the link in the pin comment below and in the description, or you need to write Blowfin, the customer support. Look here is a chat window. You chat with them and tell them, hey, can you please transfer my account under the ref code AMCrypto? That's also possible. So, but on top of that, you have to have at least $500 in your account to be part of the challenge. Otherwise, you will not be admitted. There's also a chunk of people in the basically waiting to get access to the channel. They have sent nothing. So if that's you guys, you have not sent me a DM on Twitter, you have not sent me a DM on Telegram and expect that I just admit you, or that my team admits you. That is not how it works. Send me a DM, show me or my team that you are part and that you want to be part of it, that you actually have a Blowfin account under my link and have deposited $500, then no problem. We are more than happy to let you in. But I want to remind you guys, this is an exclusive group. I want to keep it exclusive, so you have to play by the rules. Otherwise, you will not get in and reap the rewards. So just something I wanted to address here. Again, the link is in the pin comment below and in the description below, and everything is explained. Everything is explained in the description how to join. So just follow these simple steps, guys. Now, on the MDX Algo scalp gradients here on the 4-hourly chart with the bullish pennant, we see here now that the price action is heating up. We have here a pink reddish candle. That is not the end of this move here, because remember, when we get here the pinkish red candles, we usually get continuation into higher levels. And if I would just copy here what we are seeing here on the left side, what happened priorly, that would bring us already into a new all-time high of roughly $114,000, while I still believe that we will go potentially a little bit higher than that. So here, as I mentioned, here is a new trade setup. I need to move this a little bit higher. So a 3.75% move more or less here. So that is, of course, a short-term trade. You need to wait for this 4-hourly candle here in 2 minutes to close and get continuation with the next candle. That is when I would enter. But I can tell you already here, directly indicator is showing me that we are about to get here continuation. Remember what I said yesterday? I said I want to see here that we turn red and start moving higher a little bit. So here's still some room that we actually do that, and it looks like that we are about to get that move that I was foreshadowing yesterday. So here, like I said, here's the next setup that you can trade from $108,100 all the way up to $112,200 with a stop loss at $106,500. That is the next trade setup if you miss the other trades that you can actually trade. Now, on the liquidation levels, we have here massive shorts, longs that came in. So we have here now a huge buildup of long liquidity. At some point, in my opinion, that will be taken out. But now we are about to liquidate all the shorts that were sitting here for quite a while. So if people are not closing the shorts and are in disbelief and think that they will not get touched, I think they need to think twice, because we saw here now this massive pump that short squeeze here already to the upside, and this will just continue the higher we are actually going and closer to $110,000. So here on that trade setup, we are up 5.11% currently. So here you should start raising your stop loss to around $105,000. To make sure that you walk away with money if that trade would turn against you. On the liquidation heat map. So here, as you can see here, the shorts, even on 2-week charts, leaving, so of course here's still the highest concentration of liquidity between 108,000 and $112,000 approximately. There's still the highest concentration, but you see not here a bright yellow area anymore, besides that small one here that has built up over the last couple of days. And here in the $110,000, $111,000 region, they have left, so that means they have closed based on that pump here, maybe already yesterday, the short positions, or at least reduced them, and that's why we see here not a high concentrated bright area anymore. And in my opinion, the higher we go, the less we're gonna see that here to the upside. So of course, at some point there will be some degenerates trying to short the top again, but I think at that moment, some people might get lucky before we get here again a bright yellow area on the chart. So below us there is some long liquidity as I just mentioned, but not much at $104,700 approximately. I don't see us right now dropping here 3-4% to the downside to make that liquidity grab, while there's so much more liquidity stacked above us, and market makers and also hedge funds like to go the way the least of resistance, and that is currently to the upside. Then when we look at the total free market cap, so here, as I was telling you guys yesterday, we are starting to move here higher. Once we're breaking above the $160 billion level, which we potentially do here in the next couple hours, we should get also here a nice pump in direction of 900 billion. Once we're clearing that level, then it's finally blue skies, and we can talk about an altcoin season, in my opinion, at least the beginning of one. Because we have now here consolidated in that region since February this year, so also a multi-month consolidation, and in my opinion a Wyckoff accumulation pattern. I'm going to show you that tomorrow, how that exactly looks here on the total free market cap, and it looks like that we are about to get here a nice break also here into a higher valuation of the total market. So then the Bitcoin dominance is breaking here now into the resistance area again. I warned also about this yesterday and said, okay, if Bitcoin starts pumping here with a crazy candle, we could see this, but I still expect here over the next couple of days that we're gonna get here a move to the downside. I have to readjust here a little bit these lines because they're not accurate anymore, but this here is still a rising wedge. So this is still a rising wedge here. So I just had to readjust the lines a little bit. So here by Thursday latest, we should get a break below that smaller rising wedge that we formed here and get a rejection out of that resistance area. If you want to trade altcoins, guys, don't forget, I trade all my altcoins on a Bybit. You get $30,000 in sign-up bonuses on Bybit, plus a free $500 Airdrop position, and you can also get a Bybit card. And really important, Bybit is available again in Europe. So if you are in Europe and you were banned from using Bybit, now you can use it again. So go and sign up there, because all my altcoin trades are happening on Bybit. I lost currently access to my Bybit account because I lost one of my phones, so I cannot log into my account, but I'm gonna show you once that is resolved my positions there, and you will not believe how big my positions are currently on Bybit. And they're gonna open also new positions when I get back in there. So you want to make sure that you have an account and can trade also these positions with me that I share here absolutely for free on the YouTube channel. So go and click on the link below and sign up on Bybit. Ethereum Bitcoin chart is right now seeing here a small rejection, but we just started the week. I still expect here that by the end of the week we are above the downward sloping trend line. We are going down here a little bit because Bitcoin is pumping and Ethereum is not outperforming Bitcoin. That's the only reason why we are seeing here right now that small rejection, but again, we have the whole week to turn this around. Regardless of that, Ethereum came back into the bull pennant here that we were forming. We are really close to the original entry, so it's still not too late for you to get in here at the entry at $2,571 because the indicators are clearly showing us that there is momentum building up to get a really crazy push. Here the MACD will print a buy signal by today or tomorrow. So today's close or tomorrow's daily close, that's what I mean. The RSI is pointing up here. The stochastic starts to fly and gave us a buy signal yesterday, as I told you. So here, if we close today above that down the upward sloping trend line here of that bullish pennant, then I expect definitely here a break this week into higher prices. Also here on the ascending triangle, We are basically reclaiming here level by level on the Fibonacci extension levels. We are retesting here the 0.5 at $2,553 currently here on the daily chart. So if we can manage, let's say by today or tomorrow, to break here above, then I expect in the following days a retest of the golden ratio and a reclaim most likely. Then we're also back in the ascending triangle, and once we are back in that, we're also going to get here the higher push. So the bearish scenario would be we come up here golden ratio, get rejected, consolidate, pattern invalidated, and then a week later or so we're gonna get that pump. So, but in my opinion, that we get the pump is inventable right now. When we're looking at Solana on the 4-hourly chart, also here things have turned around. We got now finally a pump here with Bitcoin into the prior support area. I leave it as support because we have broken into that, and the new 4-hourly candle that just opened is still trading within that, so we could get the continuation. The setup here from $147 is of course massively already in profit. So when we look at this here, so this is 5.4% already in profit. Also here, set your stop loss to break even, and then at the same time I have a new setup that you can trade if you miss this trade here. From $157 to $180 approximately, with a stop loss at $150, but only enter this when we have closed at least a 1-hourly candle above $157. Then injective, in my opinion, also not too late to enter this, even though I said enter when we are breaking above $13. So we are 3% above that, so it's not, in my opinion, too late to enter this specific setup here. So if you would enter right now and you trade this to the technical target of that falling wedge pattern, that would be still 14.6%. Just your stop loss has to be a little bit adjusted, so that would be roughly here at $12.82 with an entry at the current price level. So yeah, also here maybe wait another hour to see if we close the current price level or if we get a rejection and move a little bit lower again to the original entry. So, and then if we manage to break higher after $15.37, you can technically trade this all the way up to $16.45, but I would definitely take some profits up here before I trade the continuation, and of course raise my stop loss along the way. The next one is ICP. We completely nailed that one here. So the original setup is flying, the secondary setup is also flying, because I told you here when we break above that line, I expect that we start moving here to the upside, completing this W pattern. W pattern broke out today, and we just keep flying higher and higher. So both setups here massively in profit. We are getting really close to close that trade here. The original one at 21.25% profit, and the other one at roughly 12% once we're reaching a technical target here of the W pattern. And then if we manage to close that, to reach that, and we're going above, then the next level would be all the way up here, $6.63. So that could be another roughly 10% move that we go here higher. But again, same thing here again. If you want to play this, stop loss basically to current price when we get to $6.13, and take a little bit profit here, like 25%, 30% off the table. Leave the stop loss at the current price, $5.92, and then ride it higher. If it kicks you out, that's fine. You made still more than enough money, especially if you trade it on leverage with 5 or 10x or whatever you use, and then gonna just wait for a re-enter, a level where you can re-enter your position. The next one is Sui. So Sui struggles with that big resistance area here, but also the original trade setup finally starts to play out here. So from $3.22, we are up 2.5% roughly right now. So if we reach the target, that would be 6.5%. This is of course again usually a short-term trade. We had here a violent break yesterday to the upside from that smaller falling wedge pattern. So I can draw this in quickly here. You can see that. So here there was a smaller falling wedge pattern playing out from where we broke out. So as long as we can stay within $3.30 over the next 2 hours, I expect continuation here. So we just consolidate a little bit, building momentum and getting then the next push to $3.40, $3.43 into the golden ratio here. So on the indicators you see a little bit exhaustion. That's why I'm saying I expect here a small consolidation phase on the 1 hourly chart before we get continuation. On the lower time frames, like 15 minutes, yeah, also here we are turning down, but like in 30 minutes, we have reached the bottom and should start going up a little bit again. On the 4-hourly chart, we just basically created a buy signal on the stochastic RSI. So here, most likely in the next 4-hourly candle, we're going to get this next push. Worst case scenario, in my opinion, where we're going to get the next push to the upside. Then TRB is still below the downward sloping trend line, but don't be mistaken here. Once we're breaking above that, we're going to squeeze most likely directly to $56, maybe even higher than that. TRB is prone for moves like this. And on the daily chart, just want to point out, we start to flatline here on the stochastic RSI being oversold. So that is for me also an indication that here is a bigger move and a violent move looming for TRB. So I'm definitely also keep watching that while we are currently trading around the entry level for this trade setup. So either you can wait for the break and that we are going higher, or you can technically also enter this right now, but it will be a little bit more risky because now usually you want to have that break and enter on that break into that setup here. And so this is already everything for today's guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure that you smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you with more money tomorrow.